A very good afternoon, my dear students. I am here about to start with the lesson Mother's Day, and today the final climax of the chapter I will be explaining to you all. So hereby I am sharing the screen, and please confirm me whether the screen is visible or not. I hope the screen is visible to all of you. So right now I will be dealing with the last part as a recapitulation related with the page number 49 that yesterday I had discussed with you all. So both of you can see the screen. Please confirm me once. Both of you can see
Yes,
the
sir.
screen. Okay. Thank you so much for your feedback. Now let us move on. See, actually Doris was very upset. As you know, the reason why Doris was so upset was because of the fact that Mrs. Pearson insulted her boyfriend. Actually it was not Mrs. Pearson, it was Mrs. Fitzgerald inside the body of Mrs. Pearson who did that. And after that, when Mrs. Pearson actually did came inside the house, she from outside was Mrs. Fitzgerald, and she asked the reason why Doris is so upset, why she haven't went out, because she was supposed to go on a date and all this. At that time only Doris lost his temper and had behaved in a very rude manner, and then it was Mrs. Pearson who actually was Mrs. Fitzgerald scolded her, and Doris looked at her father, but her father was very helpless at that time. And from the body expression or from the body language of her father, it seems that her father won't help or won't be able to help her in that situation. So ultimately he had to be a bit polite. She had to be a bit polite, and that what exactly she did. Okay, so now you see this line. Doris, I am going out with Charles Spencer tonight, but now I have called it off. Mrs. Fitzgerald, oh, what a pity, dear. Why have you? Now, Mrs. Fitzgerald was actually Mrs. Pearson. But since we audiences, we readers, we know it, the other three characters, that means Doris, Cyril, and George Pearson, they were completely unaware of this, change of personality. They don't know about it at all. Now Mrs. Fitzgerald is saying, oh, what a pity, dear. Why haven't you went out with your boyfriend? Doris, with a flash of temper, because if you must know, my mother's, please underline, your textbook also should be by your side. Okay, because if you must know, my mother's been going on at me, making me feel miserable, and saying he has got buck teeth and is half-witted. So my mother made me felt miserable, and obviously told that my boyfriend Charles Spencer, he got buck teeth and he is half-witted. Now Mrs. Fitzgerald became a rather bolder and told Mrs. Pearson, oh, you shouldn't have said that. Why have you told this? You shouldn't have said this. Now Mrs. Pearson very sharply, because we know that Mrs. Pearson from inside it is Mrs. Fitzgerald, and Mrs. Fitzgerald from inside it is Mrs. Pearson. We know it very well. Now see, there lies the essence of the comedy, and obviously there is a social message also that J.B. Presley also given in detail in this drama. So see now this line, Mrs. Fitzgerald, I will manage my family, you manage yours. Okay. Now George, after all those insults, still George is about to comment something. And see what he is commenting. Taking her off now. Are you Annie? Mrs. Pearson, they are waiting for you at the club, George. Don't forget. And don't you start crying again, Doris. George, what you are doing here? We are talking among ourselves. You already told that you have a special snooker match tonight, so you should be going there, right? Why you are waiting at the why you are waiting here? You should be going there, because they are waiting for you at the club. And Doris, please don't start crying again. If you really want to cry, then you can go upstairs and cry. Now Mrs. Fitzgerald getting up with sudden decision. That's enough, quite enough. Okay, now this behavior of Mrs. Fitzgerald, because George and Doris, they were totally unaware about that personalities change bodies, about that magical change. They were totally unaware of this. So both of them, they were totally shocked by looking at the behavior of the neighboring lady by the name of Mrs. Fitzgerald. They were totally shocked because they haven't expected that she would behave in this manner. Okay, they haven't expected it. So that is the reason they are totally shocked, because they had discovered in her anxiety, they had discovered in her feelings towards them. Unlike related to Mrs. Pearson. Okay, because the real fact is that they were totally unaware that Mrs. Pearson is actually Mrs. Fitzgerald and vice versa. It is because of the magic that had occurred beforehand that the interchange of personalities had occurred, and not only interchange of personalities but habits and mannerisms and behavioral traits. Okay, all those things were also imbibed by the respective characters. Okay, now let me move on to page number 50. Up to this part, it was a short recap yesterday I did with all of you. Now I will be moving on to page number 50. I hope page number 50, the screen is visible to all of you. I hope both of you can see it. Now you see what is about to happen. Again the magic will be performed, and they will get back their own personalities. Okay, to George and Harris. Now listen you two. Now who is the speaker? The speaker here is Mrs. Fitzgerald, but we know deep inside it was actually Mrs. Pearson. Okay, so see this line. I want to have a private little talk with Mrs. Fitz. She corrects herself hastily. Hastily means hurriedly. Previously also, out of excitement, she referred to Mrs. Fitzgerald being herself Mrs. Fitzgerald. Here also again she did the same thing, but hastily or hurriedly she corrected herself. Okay, so see now what is written. With Mrs. Pearson, so I will be obliged, that means I will be grateful if you leave us alone for a few minutes. So what she had suggested, she suggested to both Doris and George that could you please excuse us for a few minutes. If you could excuse us for a few minutes, then obviously I can handle the situation, because I know I will be able to handle the situation well. I will let you know when we have finished. Go on please. I promise you that you won't regret it. There's something here that only I can deal with. Yes, there is something here that obviously I can deal with. So there is confidence in the way that Mrs. Fitzgerald had uttered these words, and obviously there was a note of assurance also. There was a hint of assurance also in all these dialogues, and George felt very happy. Okay, he felt glad that at least a burden will be lifted, and someone was eager to lift that burden, and someone was eager to solve the situation, and that someone was none other than Mrs. Fitzgerald. But actually it was his wife only, Mrs. Pearson, deep inside the body of Mrs. Fitzgerald, but that neither he nor the children, they were totally unaware of it. Okay, so see this line. There's something here that you won't regret it. There's something here that only I can deal with. Very, very important line. Okay, and I here highlighted that line with my cursor. I hope you can see it. Now George rising. I am glad somebody can, cause I can't. Okay, now George has already surrendered, and how he had surrendered, this dialogue is a clear indication of that I am very happy someone is there to solve the problem. I am very happy someone is there to lift the burden, because I can't. Come on Doris. Then both the father and the daughter, they exit from that room. Okay, so up to this it is clear to all of you. Have you understood up to this? Okay, fine. Okay, so let us move on. George and Doris exit left. I told you left, right, center, all these are the stage direction. As they go, Mrs. Fitzgerald moves to left of the small table and sits. She eagerly beckons Mrs. Pearson to do the same thing. Okay, that means again the magic will be performed. But remember, previously when the magic was performed for the very first time, what was the outcome? The outcome was personalities change bodies. Now, when for the second occasion or for the second time, when the magic will be performed, what will be the outcome? Personalities regain. Okay, or I mean the individuals, they regained their personalities, their original personalities, their individual personalities. That means their personalities are regained by them. So this will be the only change. Or apart from that, the procedure related with the magic, how the magic was been undertaken, then the rhymes that was muttered by Mrs. Fitzgerald previously, those things, the entire procedure is same. Okay, there is no change at all. See now, Mrs. Fitzgerald, we must change back now. We really must. Mrs. Pearson, why? Mrs. Fitzgerald, because this has gone far enough. I can see they are all pitiable. Actually, the meaning of the term miserable is pitiable. I can see their sorry faces. I can see that they are very much humiliated. I can see that they are very much insulted. So I can't take it any longer, because I have great love for my family members. I have great unconditional love for my family members. I can't bear it. I can't handle it. I can't take it any longer. So obviously I want you, Mrs. Fitzgerald, it's a request. Please perform the magic once again. So see, because this has gone far enough, I can see they are all miserable and I can't bear it. Now it is too much, I can't bear it. Now Mrs. Pearson, a bit more of the same would do them good, making a great difference already. Now Mrs. Pearson is actually Mrs. Fitzgerald, as that you know, because personalities change bodies, that is one of the core concept of this particular drama, because when we understand that they had already changed their personalities and each one had imbibed the respective personality of the other, then the real comedy starts. But remember, underneath the comedy, the social message has been highlighted, that is also very much praiseworthy. And what was the social message? That mothers and housewives, they should be given the due consideration inside a family. So let us move on. A bit more of the same would do them good, making a great difference already. She moves to right of the table and sits. Now this is something very, very important. Again, as I told you, the preparation they are taking, both of them are sitting face to face, and obviously that magic will be performed. Who has shown a sense of urgency? It was shown by actually Mrs. Pearson inside the body of Mrs. Fitzgerald, because she can't see her family members to suffer like this, and that was the reason she wants a change to be done, and she wants the change to be done immediately. Okay, so I hope up to this it is clear. Okay, so let me move on. See what is written. No, I can't stand any more of it. I can't stand any more of it means I can't bear it. And please, Mrs. Fitzgerald, change. Okay, perform the magic once again. I need to get back my own personality once again, my own original one. I really can't. We must change back. Hurry up, please. See, one thing is noticeable. I hope you had also noticed in the course of the dialogues that we can read related with Mrs. Pearson inside the body of Mrs. Fitzgerald, and the dialogues being uttered by her being inside the body of Mrs. Fitzgerald. The dialogues are very repetitive. I'm not talking about the other dialogues that already we had read earlier, but the dialogues that today we are are reading that the word please been repeated. Okay, that means she was very much longing, she was desperate to change, she was very much desperate to get back her own personality, and she wanted Mrs. Fitzgerald, who knows this magic very well, to do the needful at the earliest. Okay, so see this line, and I had already highlighted it. See, no, I can't stand any more of it. I really can't. We must change back. Hurry up, please, Mrs. Fitzgerald. Look at the sense of urgency. Look at the longing. Please do the needful at the earliest. Now see the dialogue of Mrs. Pearson. Mrs. Pearson, well, if you insist, then let me change. Mrs. Fitzgerald, yes, I do. Please, please, please change. She stretches her hands across the table eagerly. Mrs. Pearson takes them. That means the magic will be performed. Mrs. Pearson is actually Mrs. Fitzgerald. She knows the magic and she will be performing the magic for the second time. Okay. Now, Mrs. Pearson, quite now, relax. Again, the same procedure will be applied, the one that we had read earlier. Mrs. Pearson and Mrs. Fitzgerald stare at each other. What is the meaning of stare? To look fixedly. That means they looked into each other's eyes. Okay, they look fixedly, muttering the same rhyme. I won't be going by the rhyme. They carry out the same action as before, going lax. That means they became unconscious for a time being, for a fraction of a second to say precisely, and when they come back to life, that means when they regained their consciousness, it seems that they got back their own individual personalities. Okay, see this line, very very important, and here once again with my cursor I am highlighting it, and I hope that you can all see it because it is visible in the screen. See, they carry out the same action as before, going unconscious and then coming to life. But this time, that means after that interchange did happen, now they get back their proper personalities, or we can say they get back their own personalities. And obviously Mrs. Fitzgerald enjoyed the entire thing. It was a great experience from her perspective, but it was a tormenting one for Mrs. Pearson to see her family members suffer. And genuinely she used to love her family members, otherwise she would have been happy looking at her family members getting insulted by a neighboring lady, but she felt sad deep inside. Okay, and not only that, she was very anxious, because that anxiety can be seen on her eyes. Okay, those anxiety can be seen. She felt for her husband, she felt for her daughter, obviously she felt sympathy for her son also, Cyril also. Now see this line, they carry out the same action as before, going lax and then coming to life. But this time of course they became their proper personalities, they became their usual personalities. Okay, their actual personalities we can say. Now Mrs. Fitzgerald, well, I enjoyed that. Mrs. Pearson, I didn't. Mrs. Fitzgerald, well, you ought to have done. Now listen. Now see, Mrs. Fitzgerald, practically to be very honest with you all, she was a genuine well-wisher of Mrs. Pearson. I repeat one more time what I told right now. Mrs. Fitzgerald was a genuine well-wisher of Mrs. Pearson. Every time she acted like a catalyst. She was there to support her, she was there to help her, and obviously here she did a massive job. Okay, she not only made her smile after so many years, but at the very end you will realize she made every family members realize the importance of Mrs. Pearson in their house. There lies the universal theme or universal significance of this drama written by Priestley. Okay, so let us move on now. See this line, Mrs. Fitzgerald, well, you ought to have done. Now listen, Mrs. Pearson, don't go soft on them again. Yes, don't be so soft on them. You don't have to be excessively polite. You don't have to be apologetic. Okay, be what you are. That will be more than enough. Okay, see, don't go soft on them again. else it will all have been wasted. If you be soft on them, then the entire thing that we had done, the magic, and after that the rough counseling, okay, that actually rectified them, everything will turn futile if you again be the same one as you were earlier. Everything will turn futile then. Mrs. Pearson, I will try not to. Mrs. Fitzgerald, okay, fine, I will try not to be what I was previously. I will try to change myself, and obviously I will be following your suggestions very closely. Mrs. Fitzgerald, they have not had as long as I would like to have given them. Another hour or two's rough treatment might have made it certain. Yes, if I would have got, this was been told by Mrs. Fitzgerald, because as already you know, it was been told a bit earlier by the dramatist himself. But I mean, it was told that she enjoyed this interchange. Okay, now another hour or two's rough treatment, according to her, would have made it certain. So from that perspective, she was not totally satisfied with the entire work that was being done after that magic was performed. Okay, so for a time being, she felt like that she was satisfied, but when the end picture came to her, she felt like that another hour or two's rough treatment would have made it totally certain. Okay, now let me move on. I'm scrolling a bit down. Mrs. Fitzgerald, severely, do you start any explaining? See this line. Sorry, I missed one line. Mrs. Fitzgerald, Mrs. Pearson, I'm sure they will do better now, though I don't know how I'm going to explain. Now see, the anxiety can be seen in Mrs. Pearson. She's saying that how am I going to explain how rudely I had behaved. Mrs. Fitzgerald, she gave the suggestion that be what you are, no need to apologize, no need to explain, no need to say I am very sorry for my misconduct, I am very sorry the way I had behaved, for my rude behavior, for my rough way of talking and conversation. No need to say all this. Mrs. Pearson, it's all right for you, Mrs. Fitzgerald. After all, they aren't your husband and children. Yes, they aren't your husband and children. Mrs. Pearson is saying, you are saying it's easy for you to say that you don't have to explain anything, you don't have to be apologetic, you don't have to apologize also. Yes, it is very easy from your perspective to say it because they are not your children and George is not your husband. But from my perspective, it is very, very difficult. Now see, Mrs. Fitzgerald, next dialogue, it is very logical also. Now you listen to me. You admitted yourself you were spoiling them and they didn't appreciate you. An apology is any explanation and you will be straight back where you were. I am underlining this line once again. It's a repetition of the same dialogue more or less that was been told by Mrs. Fitzgerald earlier, that if you go on traveling by the path where you will be go on saying to them very sorry, I apologize, okay, and I want to explain the matters, I want to explain the things. If you go on with this, then I'm afraid the entire endeavor will be futile. Okay, so you better be what you are and try not to remember those things. Try to skip those things, because if you try to be over possessive, if you try to be over polite, if you try to be over apologetic, then of course ultimately it will backfire. It will be futile. Whatever we did till now, everything will be a total failure. So I request you not do that. Be what you are. I am warning you, dear. Just give them a look, a tone of voice now and again to suggest you might be tough with them if you wanted to be. And it ought to work. Anyhow, we can test it. Obviously, now what actually Mrs. Fitzgerald told, that be tough. I am not saying that every time you behave rudely. It is not that. You behave normally, but when you think that a thing is getting out of control, at that time you have to behave roughly with them. You have to scold them, you have to guide them, you have to be strict towards them. Not every time, but on some occasions when you think that it is needed to rectify their behavior or rectify their mentality regarding a particular situation, definitely you have to be strict during those times. That was what Mrs. Fitzgerald suggested to Mrs. Pearson. See, and I am hereby highlighting this part. Just give them a look, a tone of voice now and again to suggest you might be tough with them if you wanted to be. And it ought to work anyhow. We can test it. Yes, and definitely it will work. Trust me, it will work. Supposedly it will work. Okay, you can test it now only. Mrs. Pearson, how? Well, what is it you'd like them to do that they don't do? Stop at home for once. Okay, what you want them to do that they don't do actually? What is that thing? Mrs. Pearson, yes, and give them a hand with supper. I want them that they should actually help me with dinner, because every time I used to prepare all the things in the kitchen. So I want them to help me out. And though I do prefer to do it, but every time it becomes monotonous. So I want them to help me out, but they haven't previously. Now Mrs. Fitzgerald is saying that now if you say them that, they will be doing it. Whatever you will be saying, they will be following it. Trust me, see this. Anything you would like them to do that you enjoy, whether they do or not. Now, is there anything that you enjoyed on your part but they haven't enjoyed so much? Well, yes, like a nice game of rummy. Of course, there is a rummy. I love this game. But of course, they haven't participated with me. Seldom, occasionally during the Christmas festive season, they participated, but not on all occasions. Now, Mrs. Fitzgerald, that will do then. She moves towards the door, left then turns. But remember, keep firm, or you have had it. But see, at the very end also, she is saying that, but remember one thing, be firm, be resolute, show some personality. Okay, show some strength. Okay, every time you don't have to be over apologetic. Maybe at this time the family members will behave properly, but a situation might come when they might turn against you. At that time you have to protest. Otherwise, again you will move on to the same situation. Again you will move on to the same scenario. That should never happen. That was the only warning that Mrs. Fitzgerald constantly kept on reminding. I repeat one more time, dear students, that was the only thing that Mrs. Fitzgerald, that please don't be extra soft on them. Don't be too polite. That is the only thing that Mrs. Fitzgerald went on constantly reminding Mrs. Pearson every now and then. Before she was about to depart also for the night, she reminded it once again, don't be soft on them. If you try to be soft on them, they would again behave in the same manner. Okay. Now, obviously, you see, the family looks anxiously at Mrs. Pearson, who smiles. Much relieved, they smile back at her. Okay, now there will be a happy ending, and let me just go through it. Please be in the class and follow. Doris, yes, mother. Mrs. Pearson, okay, look at this. Seeing that you don't want to go out, I tell you what I thought we would do. And obviously now the way she is speaking, the way she is delivering her dialogues, all are very rational, very straightforward. Mrs. Fitzgerald giving a final warning, remember, don't be soft. Mrs. Pearson looked at her, kept on nodding that okay, fine, I will be following all the guidelines and the decorum that you had suggested. Indirectly, she told it to Mrs. Fitzgerald, not in front of them, because the family members, they don't know about the magic, they don't know about the interchange of personalities and whatever. So see now, no objections, I hope. George, no. Mother, whatever you say. Now George Pearson, who never ever had given due importance, went on calling his own wife mother. And helpless, whatever you say, I will be following you. Mrs. Pearson, I thought we would have a nice family game of rummy and then your children could get the supper ready while I have a talk with your father. Okay. Now Mrs. Pearson is saying that okay, fine. Then you both of you, then you Cyril and Doris. She is referring to both. That why don't you go in the kitchen and prepare the supper or the dinner while I will be having a talk with your father. Now George, suits me. He looks challengingly at the children. What about you two? Okay, now George is now very much happy that the entire situation is now within control. He was very scared, and that was the reason he told sixes and sevens, because it was in a state of conflict. But now there is a state of harmony, we can say. So he looks challengingly at the two children and told them, what about you two? I will be here gossiping with your mother. Why don't you prepare whatever your mother told by going inside the kitchen room for the supper? Cyril hastily, yes, that's all right. Doris, well, Mrs. Pearson, what? Speak up. Oh, I think it would be lovely. Doris was not so confident regarding kitchen work. As you know, she can't cook. But in comparison to her, Cyril can cook a bit. But two of them went to the kitchen. Now this is the final part. Mrs. Pearson is smiling. And look what she told to Mrs. Fitzgerald. Goodbye, Mrs. Fitzgerald. Come again soon. Mrs. Fitzgerald, the final dialogue. Yes, dear, night all. Have a nice time. Have a nice time. So, though the drama started with lot of problems for Mrs. Pearson, see, it ends with all the family getting together, and we can say it was a happy ending at the very end. And obviously, happy ending with a social message. See, Mrs. Fitzgerald exits left, and the family cluster. What is the meaning of cluster? Cluster means to gather around, and the family gather around mother as the curtain falls. So finally the curtain falls. So that is the end of the drama. So this is completed. Thank you both of you for doing the class, and tomorrow I will be doing creative writing with you all. Okay, have a nice day everyone. Thank you both of you. Thank you Angel. Thank you Annie. Thank you Angel.